Can you hear me? Hello? Yep, thanks. Okay. Uh, Good afternoon. Hey guys, what's the meaning of this keyword? What you understand from the summary? What you know about the summary? I'll do one thing. Just let me mute on yourself because you guys are muted. No, no.
Summary is something like filtered the only the key points.
Yeah, conclusion of a topic.
Yeah,
The outline.
yes.
Yeah. So guys, if you see over there the summary pages, right? If you just have a look at the summary pages, how many pages of the summary we have right now? Sorry, one, two, three, four, five. Done. The 5 pages we have a summary, right? And if you see over there, show me the 5 pages of the summary we have of Eigrp. Eigrp summary page is just 5. Now, what is the last page of the Eigrp? The last page of the Eigrp 445, we can consider 444, right? The last page. This is the 445. That's the Eigrp summary page, right? Now, if you see this one, now the Eigrp, do I know this already? And if you see what is the page number of this guy, Eigrp, and if you see the page number, the page number is 349. So the Eigrp first page number we can calculate like a 349, and this guy is like a 444. So difference is near on 90 pages. This 90 pages has a detailed information about Eigrp protocol. At the same time, we just have 5 pages of information that is called as a summary pages. It means that if one person, if I'm going to tell this person, hey, you do one thing, you just need to find, right? You just need to see how many topics are present, right? I'm telling this person XYZ, hey, you do one thing, you just need to see how many topics are present in this Eigrp. So they have a 2 options, right? Either they can prefer this way or either they can prefer this way. If I would like to see the 90 pages information, it means that I need to require almost 3 to 4 hours, right? Okay, whatever the information are there. If I'm going to look the 5 pages, ask on 3, 4, 5 hours, what happened? I just have a look in the 10 minutes. The only thing is that in the summary pages, what happened? I can get the same information where I'm getting over the 90 pages. The difference is they will give you the detailed information and they will give you the summary information. Now tell me which one is important, the 90 pages or summary pages?
Summary.
Summary?
90 pages.
90 pages? Guys,
Both.
both. It's depend, right? It's depend. Because what I'm telling this person, hey, you just need to see whatever the information they have. It's depend, right? For example, this guy wants to learn something, then you have to follow the 90 pages. And if this guy wants just to have looked at something, hey, whatever the information are present, summary. So it's depend, both are important, right? What benefit I'm getting by summarizing this all put 90 pages information in the 5 pages? The summarize the benefit I'm getting over there, I'm just reducing the size, reducing the overhead, right? Take example, if the summary pages information is not there, right? If I'm not going to introduce the summary information in the book, this person has to read the complete book, right, to get all whatever the information are present. So I'm just reducing the overhead by implementing the summary. So the benefit is what? I'm just reducing the size, reducing the overhead, improve the performance,
Save time.
save time, right? So this benefit you are getting doing the summarization in normal life. Same thing you can do with your networking. Same thing you can do with your networking. In networking, what happened, guys? In networking, what happened? Every information is important. Either they have a summary information or either they have a complete information. Every information is important. If you just put the command, show IP route, they will show you the complete information of the routing table, right? If you have a look over there, I'll just go on the router number 1. I'll just put the command show IP route. I have a 2.0 information. Can you see? What is this? This is the brief information, concise way, a summary information. But if I want to look up the detailed information, I just need to say, hey, give me the detailed information of this guy. So now this guy is giving the details. So can you see the difference from here to here? This guy to now this guy. So in networking, both information is important. Either summary information or I'm taking the company, both are information important. Only the thing is that it's depend on the requirement. We are changing the behavior. Someone mic is on. It's totally depend on the requirement. We are just changing the behavior, nothing else. If you just have a look, I put the command show IP Eigrp neighbor. I have a neighbor information. At the same time, if I'm going to put the command show IP Eigrp neighbor detail, I have a detailed information. The difference, summary information and detailed information. Same the book example, right? Every like topic has a summary pages, right? And they have a detailed information as well as. Both are important. It's just a matter of time, right? What time, which one is important. But in networking, both are really matter over there. Summary information is required when you don't have a much, like the CPU and memory on the router. You can do the summarization. For example, this is the router number 1. This is my router number 2. Right? R1, R2. This interface we have a 0/0. This interface we have a 0/0. Guys, just pay attention over there. This is the same topic that I'm not going to repeat in the OSPF part and not even in the BGP. So just pay attention. And this is the 12.0/24. So I have some loopback behind that one. I can consider this loopback number 1. Okay, that's the 191.1.0/24. Loopback number 2. I can consider this guy as a 2.0/24. Loopback number 3. It should be 3.0/24. And loopback number 4. 4.0/24. At the same time, I have something else. I have a what we call loopback number 5. That is a 10 or 10 or 10 or 10 0/24. Okay, loopback number 6. We have a 172.16. Okay, I'll call it loopback number 6 is a 10 or 10 or 10 1.0/24. And then we have loopback number 7. 10 or 10 or 10 2.0/24, and we have a loopback number 8 10 or 10 3.0/24. Copy, and I'll paste in. All this information we have on the router number 1. 10 or 10, 10 or 1, 10 or 2, 10 or 3, and then we have this guy. What's the main difference between this two one? The main difference between these two guys, these are class full, or this is class less. What are the basic things that we have learned till this point, guys? I have learned what is the use of this command and what is the use of this command, or we can say the 12.0. And then we say that exit, we need to exit from the Eigrp mode. If you want to advertise all this network, I can use one command over there. I can either you can use the network 0.0.0.0, advertise all the directly connected interface. Right? By putting a single command, no need to put the network 1.0, network 2.0, network 3.0, 4, 10, 1, 2, 3. I can use this command to just enable all the interfaces, whatever the interfaces we have from loopback number 1 to the loopback number 8. All this interface will enable in the protocol of Eigrp, and all this interface will join the multicast group dot 410, and all this information will be put in the topology table as well as, and R1 will say that all this information to the R2, right? Guys, you can use this command in the practice purpose, but don't never use this command in the production network, not even in the examination. Never ever recommendation to use this command in the production and not in the examinations. If you're going to use this command, what happen? You will you will get all the result. Ping will be successful. All output you will get, but the thing is that Cisco will fail you. For the practice purpose, you can use it. Just save the time. You can use it, but don't use in the examination, not even in the production. Once I put this command, what happened? I'm going to put the same command on the router number 2. What this guy will do? This guy will first exchange the hello packet, right? R1 is going to send the own hello packet to the R2, and R2 will send the own hello packet to the R1, right? And once they will exchange the hello packet, what happened? After that, they will have a one neighborship and adjacency as well as. So in Eigrp routing protocol, every router is going to form the neighborship, and every router is going to form the adjacency, a logical connection between the two devices. All good? What happened after that? Now R1 is going to share all this information with the R2, right? So in the R2 routing table, guys, in the R2 routing table, what information we'll have? If I'm going to look the R2 routing table, I have information something like this: D/24. Then we have a 9080. I'll explain you what is matrix. Don't worry about that. Then I'm going to learn this information from my neighbor 12.1, and I'm learning this information on my interface 0/0, right? Same thing. This, 2, 3, 4. All good. After that, what? Then we have a D. Which information? 10 or 10.0/24. I'm learning this information from my neighbor 0/12.1, and I'm learning this out on 0/0 interface, right? Copy. This guy, this guy, this guy. This should be now 1. This should be 2. This should be 3. So now whatever the user that are sitting behind the R2, right? Whatever the user that are sitting behind the R2, This user can send the traffic to all this network, right? Either 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, even this guy. Because now I have all this information in my routing table of R2. Perfect, right? Guys, let's see till this point. Okay, then I'll come to the next picture. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll remove this guy. Okay, so we have this subnet, and I'm going to do one thing. Okay, I have a loopback, right? That I copy over there. All done. So this information is there on R1, and now let's get this loopback on R1. Okay. So I'm going to remove the EIGRP right now. I'm going to start from the basic, right? Oh. So I have, if you see, do so IP interface brief. Okay, default interface 0/1. No interface loopback number 1. So I'll subcreate some loopback over there. Our interface loopback number 1 IP address will be 101/24. Interface loopback number 2 will be 3 will be 4 will be 5 will be 6 will be 7, 8. Done. To show IP interface brief. How look the configuration, guys? Let me know if you have any questions in the configuration part. Clear? Let's come back to the R2 now. If you see on R2 do so IP interface brief, I do have a pre-configuration, right? 12.2, and we have some loopback over there, right? That's 2.0. If you're interested, let's otherwise remove this guy. I don't want this person right now. Leave it. Simple. Now though, I just have a interfaces 12.2. I don't have any EIGRP. Let's configure the EIGRP. I'll configure router EIGRP number 1. I'll advertise all the network. Let's put the 0.0.0 on R2 as well as. Look back to yes on the wrong. No R2. Was it? Oh, sorry. Thanks. Going to just look back number 2. Done. If you have a look over there, do show run section EIGRP, and what command I did in front of you guys. If you have a look over there, just pay attention. Router EIGRP number 1 and network 0.0. Clear, right? I just put this command, and after that, in the running config, what happened? Automatically, what happened? This command is there. That same thing is like this one. This command is there. The also same thing like this one, but one extra command is coming over there. Did I put this command? No, I didn't put, right? Let's come back to the different iOS version. All done. And I say the router Eigrp. Done. Do so. Run section Eigrp. What's coming over there? Is auto summary is coming over there? This thing, this keyword in 15.0 as version. No. If you see the difference over there, on R1 it's coming the auto summary over there, and this is my 12.0 as version, right?
So 15.0 you have to define if you want to go for auto summary,
Yeah,
right?
that's correct, right?
So by default, no auto summary is
I'm coming to
disabled.
that. I'm coming to that one. So moment. The difference is that what auto summary is automatically coming over there. This thing is not coming over there. Auto summary is bad boy. Don't know. What happened over there, guys? Try to understand. I'll do one thing, one thing over there, guys. I'm just going to right now say that no auto summary. I'm going to show you something else. I just say the no auto summary and see the output on our R2 routing table. So IP route Eigrp. Can you see that I have all this information on R2 routing table? This guy, all the 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. 4.0 is there, and all three. And then after that, we have a okay. And if you have a look, show IP route summary, right? Let's do one thing. Let me take a screenshot of this guy. Okay, I'll do the screenshot over there as well as. Let's remove this and take a screenshot and paste on. Right, done. And let's have a look. Let's remove this guy now. Let's take a screenshot of this guy now. Cool, and I will paste up there. All done. So R1 is sharing all this information. R1 is sharing all this information to whom? R2, and R2 will maintain all this information in the routing table. Awesome, right? All we have a simple individual route over there, and that actually I want. But what's happening on the router number 2 right now? Router number 2 is requiring the huge amount of 2300 bytes. Can you imagine one thing? If you have a look, what is my capacity of this router right now? Go on the configure and check it. 128 MB RAM. Okay, depend on the module, this will be changed, right? Of course, and you can increase it. That's not a big deal. But right now, what's my capacity? 128 MB RAM. And how many routes we have? Just this amount of 8 routes. That's not a big deal. In production, I'll tell you, you will have a 1000 plus route. I'm talking about in your company, not the ISP side. I'm internet now. I'm talking about, right? You know, internet is a millions of the routers there. And if my router, take example, if this router is going to consume almost 200 MB, not 200, I guess 20 MB for the routing table, just for the 20 MB for the routing table. Okay, I'll show you something else, and then the clear picture in front of you will have. 1 minute, just please see. Look on the ISP side. What is the minimum requirement to store the complete routing table for the BGP? 1 GB RAM or 512 MB? I'm talking about the routing table, not the other process. Forget the other process like the what we call NTP, MPLS, VPN. Forget that thing. Forget it. Just for the routing table. What is saying that if you use the 256 MB RAM, it's a recommendation to you use the more filter. And if you're going to use 512 MB RAM on the more internet routes, can be placed in the routing table with the few route filter you have to do. It means that still you need a route filtering. Route filtering means what? I remove the unwanted information that you don't want to just save the memory. So if I'm going to, consume the 20 MB RAM just for the 20 MB for your own company network, not that I'm talking about the ISP side. And if your router only have a 128 MB RAM, I'm just going to allocate the 20 MB for the routing protocol. And what are the remaining processes now? NATPAT, VPN, Telnet SSH, IPsec crypto. If you're going to enable the NTP, have a, for example, HSRP, you are going to enable it. What are the remaining things? Do you know almost 200 to 300 bytes of memory? Almost 200 to 300 bytes of memory, one route is going to consume, one single information. And if you don't have a much memory on the router, the other person cannot perform any telnet or SSH access to this guy. They cannot make a remote access if you don't have much memory on the router. So what I want over there, I just need to reduce, right? What I want, I need to reduce my size of routing table. I need to reduce the wastage of memory. I need to reduce process, because if you have a more route, I need to do the more process. I just need to improve so that they will behave good, right? So that they will behave good. I want this thing. How do I get this thing? Either I can do one thing on this interface on this particular guy. Hey, I want to say that, hey, whatever the route is coming from this side, from my neighbor, do filter. I can do that, right? I will not accept this update or this update. Only I'm going to accept the 1, 2, 3, and 4. So tell me, will this user ping this guy 10.10.10.10 or 10.1 and 10.2 and 10.3 anything? No. So filtering is not a good solution. Filtering is not a good solution. What is the other solution we have? I have a solution is like that. I want to also ping all this network, but I want to reduce my size of routing table. I don't want to filter anything, but I want to reduce my size of routing table. And you have to achieve all this part. How do I get all this part? By just implementing a summarization.
So low, if we give no auto summary, what would be the output?
That's I'm coming to. That's just give me 1 minute. I need to do the summarization. What summarization is going to do, guys? Summarization is going to reduce the size of routing table, reduce the wastage of memory, reduce the wastage of process, as well as and improve the router performance. So instead of taking a 20 MB RAM for the routing table, now I'm just going to take a how much RAM after doing the summarization? Maybe 2 MB or maybe 5 MB max to max, and maybe 10 MB, depend on the requirement, right? Again, what summarization is going to do over there, guys? Summarization is going to reduce the size. Like if you take example of the book, every book as the last page have a summary pages we have, and what summary pages information there? Summary information, not the detail. Summarization is like a brief, a concise way to represent the information. Convert more information into the less information, a very simple language. Or we can say that in the technical way, that's the meaning of summarization. And benefit I'm getting over there, this is the definition of the summarization. Convert the more specific information the less specific information, and convert more information into the less information. And what benefit I'm getting? This benefit. You can do the summarization in the two ways. You have an auto summary and you have a manual summary. There's two ways to do the summarization: auto summary and manual summary. And what is the summarization? Summarization is a way to reduce the size or convert the more specific information into the less specific information. That is called as a summarization. Or we can say that convert more specific information into the less specific information. And you can do the summarization in the two ways: auto summary and manual summarization. Eigrp does support both summarization. Manual. What is the meaning of auto summary? Because the name suggests that auto means what? No need to requirement of network engineer to achieve the summary by default.
So just a quick question. In Eigrp, basically the earlier version did the auto summary, but in the newer version it's not disabled
That's
by default.
I'm writing the point. That's my point is writing.
Okay,
By
done.
default, in 12 or 0 version, auto summary is enabled. Enable means what? It's on. By default, in 15.0 as version, auto summary is disabled. It means that if I'm going to put the command router EIGRP number 1 in 12 or 0 as version, and if I'm going to put the command router EIGRP number 1, what happened? The difference is that this command now when you convert into this way in your running config, right? If I'm going to talk about this guy, let's just convert into the. So the difference is in front of you, like this, and like this. So in the 12 or 0 as version, what happened? By default, auto summary is enabled, right? It's on. So what auto summary actually is doing is convert classless route into class full. That's it. Nothing else. They just convert the classless route into the class full. This guy is not going to deal with the class full, only deal with the classless. What's the meaning of that classless route in the class full? It is something like this. If you have, take example, if you have a 1.1.1.0/24 route, what is called this route? This is the more specific route, right? If the router has a EIGRP, if the router has a, this guy is EIGRP auto summary is enabled. If auto summary is enabled, right? If auto summary is on, what happened? It convert the classless route into the class full. So on this router number 2, what information I will have? What is this called as a convert more specific route into the less specific route known as a summarization. Auto summary is by default enabled. But if I do like this, if I say that, okay, same route, and I say the more specific information, right? And I'll call those guys a no auto summary, right? I disable the summarization, right? Send this information to the other guy. How R2 will receive it? I'm informing this person, hey, don't do summarization. More specific, same information I'm receiving. So auto summary means what? Do the summarization. Or no auto summary means what? Don't do the summarization. So now What's happening in this case? It is something like that. There's a $24 we have. I have a $24 and I actually have to send $24, but how I'm sending? $8. So what we are doing, we are losing the information. Now guys, you tell me, if you see what happened, this is the auto summary is doing. Right now, if you see my routing table information on R2, what I can be getting over there on R2 router, I'm getting the huge amount of memory consumption is right now just because of this person, right? And right now on R1, auto summary is disabled. If I'm going to say that auto summary, enable it, and by default it's enabled in the 12.40. I have enabled. If you see do so run section Eigrp, what happened? Summary is enabled, right? And even if you verify do so IP protocol, can you see what this guy is saying? Hey, automatic network summarization in effect. And for every single route, I'm doing the summarization. All the loopbacks. What I told you that summarization, automatic summarization is only going to deal with the which person? Automatic summarization is only going to deal with the class full, right? Convert the classless into the class full. Yeah, sorry, it's great. So if you go back to the router number 2 now, see the output right now on R2. What happened? I enable this guy, right? So what R1 will do? R1 will convert all this guy, the classless route they have, right? All this guys are classless route. Class full and classless. All the classless route is now going to convert into the single one, right? And now how R1 will send? What R2 will do? R2 will remove all the, if you see the previous all information I do had, now they delete all this information and I will have a single information. And now if you see the benefit of the summarization, guys, show IP route summary. See the difference, right? I'll do one thing. I'll make a screenshot of this guy and I'll paste it over there so that you can analyze. All good. On the paint file, where's that file? Okay, this is now. Where should I paste over there now? I think just one thing. Just remove this guy right from there. Okay. Now see the difference. All this 3 information is now 4 information is now going to convert into the single one by just doing the summary, right? I just enable which command on router number 1? Auto summary, meaning please do summarization. Please do summarization. And now what? I'm getting on R2. This output. Can you see the difference? 2300 was there. Now I reduced this amount of size of, the memory consumption, and the overhead is now. Previously, how many subnets were there? 4. The 4 subnets were the 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 10.0. Now 0 subnets. I just have a single one classful. And again, if I see that on a router number 1, hey, I don't want to do the summarization. If you see, I say, hey, I don't want to perform any kind of summarization, no auto summary. On R2, what happened? I will have all this individual information. Because on R1 I said, hey, don't do summarization. Now R1 is not doing summarization, and R2 is getting all the more specific route. Again, if I go to R1, I say that, hey, I want to do the summarization. Do it. Go on R2. See? Go on R1. Hey, I don't want to do the summarization. What happened? R2 will maintain all individual information. I'm adding all individual information. Go on R1, I say that, hey, I don't want to do the summarization. No summarization. Sorry, please do summarization. What happened? R2 will have a single. All the individual information will be deleted. And I'm going to add the single word, single out. Just add this one individual single information and remove all the more specific information. Now you guys tell me, is the auto summary is good or bad?
Depends.
Depends. Depends.
I mean, if you want to preserve the individual information in some cases, maybe that's bad, but
Which cases?
preserve.
If you have a private network, summarization is useful. Otherwise, it is better not to have it.
I'm
I
talking
would
about
say
the auto
low.
summary.
Yeah, if you have a large network, then we can go for uh, you can disable. You can do manual summarization, but
Yeah.
and right. But if you don't care about your, if your router is capable enough to handle the traffic, then you can like small networks and all auto summarization you can opt, right?
Maybe in the single classful, if you have the subnet networks divided in different places and you're auto summarizing, maybe it will not be able to route correctly.
Yeah. So if you see what's problem is happening, I'll show you guys. I'll do one thing. I'll add some router behind the R2, right? I have R3. It's not a good when one of the specific link is done. No, that's not a creative problem, Cat. If you have a look, okay, come on, show me. And I'll show you how auto summary is bad. This guy is a 24.2, we can call it. 24.2, I can call it. 24.0, this guy, and 24.4. Config terminal interface 0/0 IP address will be 24.4/24. No shutdown. Router Eigrp number 1, network 24.0. Right? 12.0 as version is there, so auto summary is by default enabled. If you go back to the router number 2 now, yeah, almost how Salman.
So, for example, I'm trying to ping the 10.10.4.1.
4.1, it will drop the
Yeah,
packet. Or that case you are saying that,
yeah.
then it will drop the packet.
So at R1, but R2 will forward to R1, right?
How?
because of summarization, we have
The
10.
R1 will drop it.
Yeah, but unwanted traffic being transferred from R2 to R1. For example, I tried to ping like 1 lakh packets. There will be congestion, even though R1 didn't have any.
This is saying that.
Yeah,
Yep. But R1 will drop it. Yeah, yeah, you can see that in that way, like unwanted traffic will send over there. Yes, you are
yeah,
right. But they will drop it.
yeah. They will R1 will drop, but congestion will happen in.
Yeah, exactly right. Go to R4, guys. If you have a look right now on a R4, I'm going to create a one loop back over there, and the loop back will be 10 dot 10 dot 4.1. Same loop back slash 24. Now tell me one thing. Auto summary is enabled over there, right? And auto summary is enabled over there. Try to understand the problem of auto summary. What happened? R1 will send the information to the R2. Which information? All this information. And R4 will send this information to R2. Which information? What R2 will do? What R2 will do?
Maybe load balancing.
Of course, buddy. So IP route Eigrp. Now, if I'm going to ping,
So that will just not work, right? So that I mean, it's basically saying it's going to send some package that way and some package this way.
exactly right, trace dot 10.10.4. See, what's happening? If I'm sending the packet, right, it's do the load balancing. It's send the packet to the router will get confused. It's the ping 10.4.4. Oh, sorry. Doesn't matter what the source is there, right? Destination is what? 10 or 10 or 401. When this packet is coming to the router number 2, what router number 2 will do? Hey, do I have this information 10 or 10? Yes, according to my routing table, I need to for the packet of the 24.4. That is this guy, and what's happening? I'm doing a loop, right? The router to get confused. Where should I forward the packet?
Because I'm learning it from both the
Yeah.
interfaces. Yeah.
Yes. So if you have this kind of scenario, in that case, auto summary is good.
No, it is
No.
not.
Exactly. So in that case, what happened? I need to go on the router number 4, and say that, hey, no auto summary. And on R1, I said that, hey, don't do the summarization. R2. Now go on R2 and say that, so IP route, Eigrp, what happened? Well, individual information 4, that is for the 24.4, right? That's this guy. And for all the remaining route, for this guy. Cool. So the reason is to disable rise to auto summary. If the same subnet is coming from the other side, the middle order is get confused. Where should I forward the packet, right? That's why it's always recommendation to disable the auto summary whenever you have a classless route. And by default, it's disabled in 15.0 as well. If you go back to the router number 1 now and see that do show IP protocol, so auto summary at the end, if I'm going to make a conclusion of this part, is only going to deal with what? Classless route. But only one more thing is there over there. Your auto summary. Do you know in Eigrp how many types of AD value we have?
Two
Types of
external is
AD.
170. 170 and 90. External is 170.
Internal route
90.
90. External route 170. Summary route.
5.
So we have 3 types of route in the Eigrp, right?
So summary route is more preferred than a normal. That's interesting.
Yep. External means what? A route that is coming from the different domain.
Like a redistributed route.
Yes, like a redistribution. It means that, for example, you have a router number 1, router number 2, and router number 3, and this guy is running with the OSPF. This guy is running with the Eigrp. R1, R2, and R3. R1 auto summary is enabled on R2 is not enabled on a R4, Salman, not on R2. R2 is not on R4. It's not even then R2 will go for yes. Yes, right. You are right. 12.1. This guy is 12.2. This guy is 23.2. This guy is 23.3. And take example, we have 1.0.0.0.0 and we have a 3.0.0. Take example. And this guy is running with this person, right? This person is running with the OSPF till this point, and this person is running with the different routing protocol. I can call it as a Eigrp. So this guy is OSPF, and this guy is a Eigrp. What happened when R3 will share this information, the own information 3.0 to the R2 on an R2 routing table? We have 3.0 as a what? Internal route, right? When R1 will share this information to the R2 in the OSPF routing table, how this will look like this? Internal. I'm talking, this is the OSPF routing table. This is the Eigrp. When R2 will send this information, by default it will not send. I need to do some redistribution on R2. R2 will send this information to the R3. Which information? I'm talking about this information now, the OSPF route. When the OSPF route comes into the Eigrp, what Eigrp will consider this route? As a D external. That has a AD value 170. A route that is coming from the different domain, or we can say that different routing protocol. 2 different domain, OSPF domain 1, Eigrp domain another. Do you know what auto summary has an issue, guys? Auto summary only summarize internal type of route. Just write on this point.
Law, can you prove that when you have auto summary enabled, can you prove that if one link is down, can you prove
Yeah,
that?
I'm coming to the point,
Okay,
Kat. Just give me some
Thank
time.
you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Don't worry. Once almost we have 2 more hour lecture of the summarization. Don't worry. We'll see every possible scenario.
Love, just one quick thing I wanted to clarify. So it is never really recommended in the current network to do an auto summary, but this was actually there when there was only classful networks present, right? So when we had classless,
yes, exactly. If you have a classless network, do disable the auto summary. If you have a classless, no need to do that.
Yeah, classless is like basically like a default in nowadays, like every network these days. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, thanks.
What auto summary is doing, guys, only summarize the internal route, not the external. So if you have a look over there, all this route is my what? It's an internal. How do I know that this is the internal route? Because all this route, internal route, advertised by the network statement, right? I do one thing. Go to router number 1. And what I call this guy? First of all, I don't know. I'll just remove this guy right now. No network. Okay. Go to R1. And I said no network. Right? So network 12 or 0. Done. Cool. I form the neighborship. So R2 will have a 2 neighborship. Show IP EGRP neighbor. See? Good. Show IP root EGRP. I don't have any doubt on R2. Nothing is there. EGRP routing table. I'm going to advertise all this route as a external. How? I just put the command redistribute connected. Guys, don't worry. If you don't know, I will explain you this thing in the later class. Hit enter. R1 is now going to share all this information as external, right? Go on R2 and check. Show IP route EGRP. I'm getting all this as external route, right? 178 See on R1. Is auto summaries enable or disable? It's disabled, right? No issue. I'll enable it. It has to send the single route, right, to the R1 now. Sorry, R2. Because it's enabled now. See? Nothing I'm doing. Auto summary is enabled, right? It has to send rich information like this. But it's not sending. Why? Because these are internal route. Go to R4. Let's do 1 minute. No interface.
No, you give no auto summary. It means there is no auto sum.
I get the auto summary. See. Still, what happened? So I will do the HRP, same information.
Right.
Go to R3, sorry, R4. So I will route HRP, same information, all individual information. Now there is no network behind the R4. Let's remove this guy right now. Now tell me, in this case, I want to summarize this route. I want on an R2 routing table, it will look like this. But on an R4 routing table, I want like this. By default, you cannot do the summarization for the external route. I want somebody address on a R port. I want somebody address on R port.
So you're going to manually do it?
You are not allowed to do the manual summarizer. What I can do, I'm just going to go on R2 router. I'm going to create a one loop back. That's belong to the same subnet 10.10 or 5.1. And I'm going to advertise. Okay, already they will advertise because I'm running with the watch command. I think so. I'm running with the network 0.0.0. I'm not wrong. Yep. And if you see auto summary is enabled, right? So what happened now? I create the loop back. What R2 will do? R2 will send the one summary dot to the on R4. So now R4, if you see all this information was there, now they have a single information. Now we did the summarization for the internal external route as well as on a R2, it looks a complete individual information. If you go on R2 again, check the routing table. See, I have external route of right. And if you go back to the R4, we have an individual single. Why I just create the one loop back on R2, that's the 5.0, and then address and make an auto summary is enabled, right? It's doing the summation. So if you want, by default, they
Lock,
can't
can
do
you Lock, can you flap the neighborship on R2 because uptime it shows like 3 minutes.
which 3 minutes. This one
On R2.
what you want? You want to flap the neighborship?
Yes, flap the neighborship. Just want to make sure it.
Law.
Yep.
In this case, the theory went wrong when you say that auto summarization doesn't summarize the external route.
Let me complete this one, then I'll come to you as well. 1 minute. Fine, and now do so. Fine now. Sir, bro.
We say that the auto summarization is for the internal routes and not for the external.
Exactly right.
But in this case, it has summarized the external as well.
Yes, exactly right. So that's why I'm telling you, by default, it's not doing the summarization for the external route, right? Auto summaries only summarize the internal route, not the external type. But if you want to do the summarize,
Okay, so the route that you're receiving and in the same segment you have
yeah,
one internal route also, it will be summarized
yeah.
basically.
So what I did on a loop back number 2, I have created on the R2, I created the 10.5.1/24, and I advertise as a network statement. So what happened? They already have a individual information, right? All this individuals. So R2 will summarize this route and it will send to the 10.0.0.0/8, and it will not send this route to the market. So you can do like this, this kind of questions. If you go for the very, very high level of the interview, right? This kind of scenarios they will ask you. And सौरभ तुम्हारा ये वाला आंसर मिल गया तुमको ये वाला? Oh. So I root auto summary. मिल गया?
Yep, मिल गया.
Clear? Any questions? No? Now, guys, what's the issue with the auto summary now? The issue with the auto summary, they cannot deal with class.
Yes.
They cannot deal. Still, if you see on a R1, I'm advertising all this foreign information. On a R2, I'm having all this foreign. Let's go on R1 and let's remove the node additional connection now. That's a network object. So show IP root EIGRP. So can you see I have all this individual information, this guy and this guy. I'm not able to do a summarization for the class full up. Auto summary is only dealing with the classless, not the classful. But manual, to achieve this summarization, if you want to achieve, summarize this route 4.0 and this all this amount of route, then you have to do the manual summarization. And manual summarization has the ability to deal with the classless route and classful route as well as. But for the manual summarization, as the name says, a manual. Manual is what? We need a network engineer to do a summation. And manual summation you are going to do on the per interface basis in EIGRP. Per interface basis in RIP, area basis in OSPF, global basis in BGP. You have to do the manual summation manually over there. I have to convert all this route. Which route is that? I want all this route that I have. This should be converted into the single one. I won't like this. I want like this. So instead of R1 is going to share this information, R1 will share this information. Now R1 is not going to share this information to the R2. R1 is going to share this information to the R2. And I have to achieve this thing by putting a manual. I'm just going to reduce, can you see that reducing the size of routing instead of making the 4 routes in the routing table, now we'll have a single information. It is something like that. Do you know how this thing is happening? Let's take example, this is my one company, right? And every company is doing the summarization, every single company. Because ISP always took your summary router. So take example, we have some router over there, router 1, router 2, router 3, router 4, router 5, router 6, right? And like this way, we have connectivity. Right? Just we have connectivity. So take example, this is my subnet I'm going to use over there. It's 10 or 10 or 10 or 10, 1.0/24. This would be 2.0/24. This would be 3.0/24. Or even they have a class group, doesn't matter. No issue. Whatever the subnet, because I have to do the manual summation. Because auto summary is never a recommendation to use. Right? 6, 7. So how many route in my network we have? In my network we have this amount of route, right? 10 or 10 or 10 1 slash 24, 10 or 10 or 10 2 slash 24, 10 or 10 or 10 3 slash 24, 10 or 10 or 10 slash 24, 10 or 10 or 10 slash 24. Me, 10 or 10 or 10 3 slash 24, and 10 or 10 or 10 7 slash 24. I have this route in my routing table in my network. When I'm going to share this information, this is my edge router of the company, right? When this guy is going to share this information to the ISP, how they will share? They will just do the manual summarization in the router, edge router, and they will say that, hey, this is the information I have. Slash 16. So what ISP is maintaining, instead of maintaining the 8 information, now this guy will maintain slash 16 information. Single information. Doesn't matter what subnet you have in the network, class full or classless. You have to do the manual summary on this guy. So this is the routing table, right? This is the routing table of which router? This is the routing table of this guy, edge router. But when the edge router is going to share this information to the company, right? Not company, ISP, it will just share this information, not the complete, not the individual information. Because just assume if every company is going to share the individual information to the ISP, whatever the ISP routing table, right? Can you imagine we have 128 bits up route? Can you, if you see, this amount of, the IP addresses we have, 32 bit. And if I'm going to compare, like, see that if you see the network is also running with the IPv6 as well as this amount of IPv6. So tell me, if ISP is going to maintain this amount of route, of course this is the the IPS route will be reduced. So what happened? The size of routing table of the ISP. Always on the edge you are going to do the summation, manual summation. So you will share, now see the comparison between this guy to this guy. So what we are going to do, guys, over there, we have to do the summation, manual summation. I need to convert this all classful network into the one. So can you see that the more specific information is now converting the less specific. And how do I get this information? I need to do the manual summation. How do I achieve this thing? What we have to do, copy this amount of route we have, right? I need to find the step number 1. Find the bind ring, or we can say the find, write down the detailed information, right? What a detail from this guy. Step 2. What a binding of this network. binding of 192. The binding of 192 will be 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, and 0. 128 plus 64, right? 192. So the binding of 192 will be what? 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3. What is the binding of 168? The binding of 168 will be I will go for the 1. If I add the 64, it will become the 192. So I don't need to put the 192 over there. So it'll be 0. If I'm going to add the 128 plus 32, right? 128 plus 32, it will be 160. Awesome. If I am going to add 16 over there, it will become the 176. That should be 0. Let's put the 1 and 0. Good, right? 128 plus 32 and plus 6, 8, 168. So the binding of this guy will be what? 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, and 0. And the binding of 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the binding of 0, last octet, all set to 0, 5, 6, 7, 8. Same thing. The binding of 2, 2.0 network. I just need to change this bit, right? What's happening there? Okay. 0 and 1, and this should be 0. The binding of 3.0, sorry. And the binding of 4.0. Done. This guy is a binding of what? This guy is a binding of This guy's a binding of what? This guy's a binding of what? This guy's a binding of what? Step 3. Find the variance point. What is the variance point over there?
The third octet.
Yeah.
The third octet.
1 minute. The third octet, right?
Yes.
This is the variance point over there. We have this point.
Correct.
Because if you see, tell this guy, same values, the first octet is same, first octet is same, the first octet is same, the first octet is same, second octet is also same, second octet is also same, second octet is also same, right? The third octet, the variation point is there. Where till this point is same, right? The 5 values are same, the 5 values are same, right? The 5 values are same. Only the variation is happening in the third values, right? And again, these values are again same. So this is my variation point. Oh, come on, come on. This is my variation point. Convert all the leftmost bit, right? Into ones, or we can say that subtract. It means that if I'm going to convert all this bit, right? All this I'm doing the first, I'm telling you this part, right? Okay, then I'll go to the next part. So if you see, if I'm going to convert all the leftmost bit over there, we have, near around 1 1 1 1 4 5 6 7 8 1 1 1 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then 1 1 1 1, and then 1, and then 0 0 0, then 0 0 0 0 4 5 6 7. So if you see how many bits we have, 21, right? Yep. If you're going to add, all this value, right? If you're going to add all this value, all the 8 bits, right? 128 plus 64 plus 32. So 128, if you're going to add plus 64, it will be 192. 192 plus 32, it will become the 224. 224, if you're going to add the 16 over there, it will become the 240. 248, 248, if you're going to add a 4 over there, 252. If you're going to add the 2 over there, 254. And if you're going to add over the 1, it will become the 255. So all this value, right, they become the 255, then 255, and then the last 5 bits. So the last 5 bit will be what? It's a 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 1. How much value it will get? It will give the 240.
Yeah.
And
248,
then last
correct.
40. Or either you can do like this, as well as convert only this bit, 3 bits, right, into the ones. So if you're going to convert this 3 bits into the one, take example 1 1 1. What is the value of this 3 1? The last from here, it has a 1, it has a 2, and it has a 4, right? So 4 2 6 and 7. Okay, minus from the 255. So if you minus from 255 minus 7, how much value you will get? 240. So it's up to you. Like, the different books, if you go for the different website, different books, they have a different meaning, right? At the end of the day, result will be the same.
Subnetting, we have a formula to find this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have multiple you can see that multiple book have multiple subnetting ways.
So we put this in /21 is the summarized.
Yeah, this is the /21 is summarized. Concise way /21.
So it's like, just if you want to summarize it, you can convert it from left. And if you need this proper subnet, then you should do it from the right.
Yep. So what is the common network of this guy? The common network of this guy will be 192.168.0.0/21. This all bits are matching, right? Common network. Because third octet is changing, right? Common. This will be a summary. So what we have to do, guys, over there, I just need to, this is my older information and this is my new information. What we have to do on the R1, as I told you that the summarization of the Eigrp you are going to do on the manual, and you have to do on the per interface basis. So I need to go on the router number 1, right? If you see do show IP interface brief, I do have all this information. Can you see that? And all this information has enabled in Eigrp. Or the loopback number 1 2 3 4. This loopback number 1 2 3 4. I need to go on this particular interface, right? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell this person, hey, I need to do the summarization, right? Interface 0/0. IP means what? I'm doing the summarization for the IPv4. If you want to do the summarization for the IPv6, then you need to put the keyword IPv6. I'm doing the summarization for the IPv4, and then I put the summary address. Hey, what is the summary address? First of all, for which protocol you are doing the summarization? Eigrp or RIP? I'm doing for the Eigrp. What's the ACE number for this guy? ACE number is 1. Now tell me the summary address. The summary address will be 0/0 then submit mask 248. Dot hit. Once I hit enter over there, what happened? Summary config, and now R1 will send a summary address to the R2. With summary address /20. And now what R2 will do? R2 will receive this information and they will delete all the individual information. Can you see that? Receive, add, right? And they will delete all this information 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. And they will add the new route. And now see the magic. Show IP route number. I did the summation of the class list. So more specific information /24 is now converting the /21, right?
So R1 is the one doing the summarization and sending the route to R2, right?
Yes, right.
Okay, so R1 should be the one that is installing the null zero route.
Oh, that's
because it's
right before. Yes, you're right. Just forget right now. Okay, we'll see after the break. Otherwise, everyone will get confused because null zero is a interesting concept.
Okay, so okay, you're going to cover that then, right?
Yeah, of course, buddy. I'm not done. We
Okay,
have
okay.
almost lots of things are there.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Hello, can you just give me the command again? Go to
Yeah, command. You can see it's very simple. Go on the interface 0/0, and put the command.
And with regards to the auto summarization and external, the point to note is only if it already has a prefix and the same prefix and it is receiving an external route and auto summarization is configured, it will summarize it. If not, even if it's receiving an external route, it's not going to summarize it, even though there is auto summarization configured, right?
Yes, right.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Is done. So guys, let's do the break. Okay, and it's 3:45. We'll see in the 3:5. Okay, it's cool. Sorry, 4:5. Let's make a 15 minutes of break, and we'll see that summation again. Okay, then after the now see whatever things that we did, it was a part of the CCNP. I'm not ending you. Now we'll do the something else, right? That's very important. That's giving the the curiosity to learn the null zero concept and everything. We'll see that after the break. Okay.
So just one question.
Yep.
That OSPF, it comes in the picture redistribution. Then how it will deal, like this variance and all will count in the EIGRP routes only, which we divided the variance and all.
Variance.
So if no, that we calculate this this route entry, right, through variance. So if OSPF route
I didn't get you the through variance in the sense.
So
I think he's talking about unequal cost load balancing, right? With regards to with variance.
You're talking about the load balancing perspective?
No. I'm talking about the redistribution perspective.
Yeah, then okay, redistribution, tell me.
So if multiple routes of OSPF comes to the R1, then how it will send the route to the R2 and then remaining
one more, please tell me the topology. Like this was the topology, right? Go tell me. So this is the OSPF, this is the EIGRP, right?
Yes.
Okay, so R1 is sending this route to the R2, right? 1.0, and R2 is sending this route to the R3.
Yes.
So what you want over there?
So that we calculated that in the last topology, right? That summary, manual summary.
Manual summary, yes. Manual summary.
192.168.0.0.
Yeah,
That's
right.
one.
Yeah, right.
So that should be done in this OSPF domain also.
Yeah, it doesn't matter for external route. It can also do that.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the question.
Manual summarization does not have issue. We can do that. All cool, guys. So see you on the 3:5. Just make a 15 minutes of break, right? So I'm not like, cutting the Zoom session. I'm just pause the recording. That's it. Okay, perfect. Cool. So router Eigrp, one network 12.0 network. Let me write this back. So I have changed my topology. You can see that the topology is in front of you. So nothing is there. Just according to the diagram is there. So loopbacks, networks, and everything. Done. So if you go back to the router number 2, do show IP route Eigrp. I'm having all this information, right? Perfect. Now on R1 router, guys, now pay attention over there. First of all, tell me one thing, what you understand from the network statement. What you understand from the network statement. Tell me, if I'm going to tell network 200.200.200.0, will R1 advertise this route to the R2? Yep. Tell
Yes,
me.
yes, it will advertise because that information is there in the this thing, right? Hello packet.
So on a check on R2, it's not advertising.
No, it won't.
It's not advertising.
We don't have any interface enabled with this IP address.
Because this route is not present in my routing table.
Yes, right.
Good. It's not there in the routing table, guys. So tell me one thing, if this route is not there in the routing table, R1 cannot advertise this route, right?
That's right, yes.
Right? Then how R1 is sending this summary address, this route to the R2? But R1 is advertising this information, right? R1 is advertising this information to the R2. How? How is possible, man? You are not sharing this information, but you are sharing this information. The point, if you have a look over there, what is the step number 1? Step number 1 is happening. Configure summary address. That is this guy under the interface. Once I configure this summary address on the router number 1, R1 will create a which route? R1 will create this information, right? In the update packet 192.168.0.0/21. Is this route is present in the R1 routing table? No. Then how does R1 will send this information to the R2? It won't, right? After putting this command in the background, what happened, guys? R1 will create a one dummy route. R1 first create, right, before sending the summary information. R1 first create a dummy route, that is this guy, and it will install this route in local routing table. This dummy route is also called as a summary route that has a AD value 5 and also called as a null zero route. First of all, R1 will create this information in the routing table like this. Okay, associated with the null zero interface. And then R1 is going to process this update to the on this interface. And after that, what R3 will do, sorry, R2 router. In the R2 routing table, if you have a look right now, this information is there, right? in the R2 routing table. What R2 will do? Once R2 will receive this information on this particular interface, right? Which information I'm talking, this information. What R2 will do? R2 will delete all this information from the routing table, all the more specific information, and what they will do, it will add a one summary route, that is a 190.0.0/21, and that has a 80 value 19 some metric. Then next of information will be 12.1. I'm learning this information on 0/0 interface. Step number 1, step number 2, step 3, step 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I cannot advertise if you don't have information. How can you save this information? First of all, I need to create a one dummy route in my routing table, and that dummy route is associated with the null 0, and that is also called as a summary route that has a 80 value 5. So if you now have a look, if you see in the background, what happened? Go on R1 router. Let's say right now no, and I'll do one thing. Do debug, please. Do show an interface 0/0. Yeah, do debug. Eigrp packet update and do debug IP routing. Do show history. Go on R2 as well as make a debug and have a look on R1. I'll just create a one summary address, right? Hit enter. What R1 is doing first of all. And in queuing the update, in queuing is what I'm putting this update packet into the queue, but I'm not sending. I'm adding this information in the routing table that has a 0/0 means what? It's a directly connected route for me. It's my own information. And what's the metric? What's the Eigrp 80 value for this guy? Summary route 5. And now I'm sending the update packet to the 0/0 interface. R2 will receive it. Update. This update I'm talking about. R2 will receive on this interface 0/0. And what R2 will do now? Add this information. And what R2 is doing? Remove all the more specific information from the routing table. Now, if you see do show IP route, I have a single information in my routing table that is a 192.160.0.0/21. That has a on an R2, it's seen as an internal route, right? As a 9080. Why? But if you check on R1, it will see like a this route as a ADU number 5. If you go on R1 and check do show IP route, this route is called as a dummy route, guys, or we can say the null 0 route. If you see the AD value for this person, do show IP route. What's the AD value is happening? And how this route is associated via null 0 interface, because this route does not have any interface, right? I haven't allocated any interface. So automatically what happened? This route is associated with the null 0 interface. And what is the type? Type is an internal. So only we have two types of route. Either the route can be what? Either route can be internal or either a route can be external. Summary route only comes in the picture whenever you do the summarization. Question is that why R2 is not having a AD file? Guys, AD is a local to the router. If I'm adding the AD on R1, it only present on R1, it will never share to the R2. So on R2, it will seem like an internal route as a 9080.
Yeah, so when you say it is locally significant, even when you say AD value for summarized route is 5, that is also locally significant, right?
Yeah. But this has some meaning. We'll discuss things later on why they put the 5 over there. We'll see that. But this is how actually the background is working. And I'll tell you one thing, before the 12.0 as version, right? This was not happen. You have to manually create the null 0 route. How? Like this. You need to go on the router, 1, and I'll say that how. I'll just take example. I'll create a one null zero route for this person. What I intend 10.10.0.0 null zero. Start right. I'm adding this into route with the null zero interface. So before the 12.0 as present, what happened? This was not happen automatically. You have to. So you had to manually create. But now it's automatically, right? But you do have the ability, you can create a null zero route manually as well. Now the question is that what is the use of null zero route? Guys, in a simple way, if I'm going to tell you, the null zero route is used to prevent loop. Perfect.
Yeah, low. Just one more doubt. Uh, we define static route also towards null zero, right?
No, I told you, I say that like if you want before the 12.0 version, what happened? It was not automatically installing the null zero. So you have to first of all manually create this route null zero, and then you are going to make a summary information. So you do have ability to create the null zero as well as. I just show you the one syntax over there.
Even if we have the summary command, still we have to manually create the static route.
No. I said that
before
in the older as version.
Older version.
Yeah. Right now
The
it's
current
already.
version, in the current version, if you define the summary route, the null zero route is automatically created locally.
We don't need to define over there. I just show you the one command. If you want to create it, you can create it. There's a command over there. For example, take it if you want to shut down 1 minute. Null zero route is used to prevent the loop. Okay, this is just left right now. Okay, first I'll explain you how the packet flow is happening. R2 will create a packet. Source IP will be what? 12.2. Distance IP will be what? 180.168.101. When this packet is coming to the router number two always perform the destination lookup in the routing table, and that's why it's called as a destination misrouting. And according to my routing table, I need to forward the packet to whom? First of all, R2 will say that, hey, I don't have a more specific information. I have a less specific information. And according to the /21, it is going to match the 101 as well. So according to my routing table, I need to forward the packet to the 12.1 from this interface. So I'm forwarding the packet from this interface to the router 1. Once the router 1 will receive this packet, it perform the lookup for the 101. Hey, do I have? Yes. According to my routing table, it's associated with the loopback number 1. And let's forward the packet to the loopback number 1. And now R1 will create the reply packet. In the reply packet, what happened? It will have a source IP will be 101 and destination will be 12.2. And this is how the R1 will send this packet to the R2. This is how the normal flow will happen. This is how the normal flow will happen. Great. Now, right now, I do have a null zero. I'm just removing the null zero route from the routing table. Okay. Or instead of this person, I'm going to add a one default route. Guys, just pay attention over there. Now the concept is coming of the null zero. I'm adding a one default route towards the clear. So how do I remove the null zero route? I just need to go on the router number 1. Right now they have a null zero route. If you see, do show IP route Eigrp, I have. I need to go on the null interface, IP summary address Eigrp number 1. 252.0. Sorry, yeah. If you see the question mark, I have a AD option. I can define the AD value 255. That's representing that it's an unknown route AD. Remember static route, unknown route. Hit enter. Do clear IP route star. Do show IP route. Do I have null zero now? Perfect, not zero. IP route 0.0.0.0 and IP route 0.0.0. Next up to two. Done. Perfect. I'm adding this information in my routing table. So I do have a default route. Perfect. I don't have null zero. Great. Now let's do one thing amazing. I'm going to shut down this loopback. There's no loopback. I'm shut downing this one. So interface loopback number one, shut down. So is this loopback is present in my routing table? No. 1.0 is not there. Great. And now see the magic. Come on. When R2 will say that, hey, I want to ping 101. What R2 has a routing table right now? 192.168.0.0/21. According to the R2 routing table, what happened? He said that, hey, I don't have a more specific information, but I have a less specific information. And according to my routing table, I need to forward the packet to the home 12.1 from which interface 0/0. So now R2 will forward the packet to whom? R1. R1 will receive the packet, right? R1, what R1 will do? R1 will look up the routing table. Hey, do I have this information 101 in my routing table? Let's check the routing table of R1. Do I have 101? No. But according to my routing table, I have a one default route that is pointing to whom? 12.2. And what is the use of default route? Let's prefer our route, right? Let's prefer. So according to my R2 routing table, he said, hey, any packet that is coming to me, I need to forward the packet to whom? Same packet. When R2 will receive this information, what R2 will say that, hey, destination is 101. Do I have this information in my routing table? No, I don't have a more specific information, but I do have a less specific. And according to my routing table,
it's a routing loop, right?
Yep, bro, right. What when R1 will receive, R1 said that, hey, I don't have a more specific information, but I have a default route pointing to this guy. I need to forward the packet to home. And this loop will be end when your TTL will become the what kind of loop is this? Control plane or data plane? Data that I'm sending. If you see, I'll do one thing. Let me see the debug, show IP debugging. Okay, the packet detail is going on, access list 100, perfect. Go to R2 and ping. If you see, I do have this information in my routing table, right? /21. /22, I have coming this guy. I make it /8. Oh, sorry. 1 minute. No, this one is. Show IP route. I have a static out node or null zero. Perfect. Go on R2. Ping. Show IP route Eigrp. You can see I have a default summary out ping 101. and see the magic. R2 is creating the packet to alert to source this same packet, right? When R1 is seeing the packet, what R1 is doing? Source to alert 2, destination 101. This is the type is what? ICMP 8 echo request, and see this guy. On which interface I'm redirecting? Great. This is your output. If you don't have, right? Redirecting the traffic, right? I'm not dropping, redirecting. So this is the output. I'll do one thing. I'll copy it for the reference purpose, and I'll do, where should I copy? I'll paste it over there. I'll do one thing. I'll just remove this part, right? I'm not interested. It is all over to the Algerian thing. I'll just put this guy over there, something like this right now. Okay, and this guy, this it is local to the route of this guy over there, and null zero is used to prevent the loop. I'll just put this guy over there. And now, see, this is the debug output. Great. If you see on R2, this output. Now, I don't have a null zero. So what happened? If you don't have a null zero, loop is created. He's redirecting, right? R1 is redirecting to whom? Steward.2. So packet is coming from the R2. That's how the source of this guy. Steward.2. Destination is. This is a reminder. Alexa, stop. 202 source and destination 101. ICMP type code 8. Right? Echo request packet. And I'm redirecting, man. Now let's add the null zero concept in your routing table. At the same time, I'm going to add I'm having a static route. Still this route is not there, right? 1 or 0. So how do I add this null zero? Null zero route. I'm just going to configure IP summary address. Eigrp name 1. Run and 5. That's already summary. You can change the ID as well, as it's up to you guys, right? Done, right? Summary configure and do so IP root now. All good. Now see the output. Same thing.
Okay, so in this iOS, because the default behavior is to create an Azure route, you basically change the ID to 255, so it won't be installed.
No, that's a mechanism, right? If you change the ID value to 255, that's unknown route ID. Remember the static route. That's the technology we are using, right?
Yeah, no. I was just saying, like version, it was not automatically installing the null zero route, so then you didn't have to really. I mean,
it's automatically installing.
Okay.
It still is automatically installing. See, I'll do one thing. One minute. Do show run interface 0/0. I'll just remove the summary errors, right? Done. Remove it. I don't have any summarization, right? And do show IP root. I don't have any null zero. Of course, there's no summarization, no null zero. On R2, it receives all the individual information. Show IP root. Right? Let's go to R1 and say that, hey, I need to do the summarization. Do the summarization. I'm not going to define the 85 over there. By default, it will take the 85. Automatically, I'm creating the null zero. I'm not doing anything manually.
But when you make AD value 255 on
Yeah.
the summary command, it won't install the null route.
Yeah, that's a behavior, right? The AD of 255 is unknown dot AD.
Okay.
If you miss the one class of the static or the last class, then you will not understand. That's the AD value of one unknown dot. Now have a look, guys. Same packet. Now when this guy will send the packet to the R2, what R2 will do? R2 will look up the routing table. Hey, I don't have a more specific information, but I have a less specific information. And according to my routing table, I need to forward the packet to whom 12.1 from which interface. This guy R2 will forward the packet to the R1, right? R1 will receive this packet. R1, first of all, it performs the longest prefix match rule, right? What R1 will do? Hey, I don't have a more specific information 1.0/24 and 32. What R1 will do? R1 will say that, hey, I have a 21. Now, default dot has a 0/0, right? It will never go for 0/0. First, it will look for the /21, and /21 associated with the which interface null zero, or what null zero is saying that any packet
Drop the packet.
hits on null zero interface. The packet will be and this is how I'm preventing the null loop. So now if you see the output ping same route. First of all, I'll show you this output difference over there. So now and see the match. Okay. So and see on R2 as R1 as well. What R1 is doing, it's forwarding the packet, right? This guy. 12.2, this guy. 12.2. Yep, this guy is 12.2, distance 101, and also where I'm hitting the packet. What output I'm hitting over there? Unreachable. Because this route is not exist. What I was having, I'm pinging, right? Loop was happening. I'm pinging this. I'm getting unreachable because now this guy is hitting the packet on which interface null zero, or any packet that hits on the null zero interface, the packet will be. This null zero route. That's why it also called as a discard route, because I'm discarding the packet whenever any packet is hitting to the null zero interface.
So that means if I ping 192.168.2.1, it's dropped as well, right?
No. Why they will drop? It's a /21 or /24. Longest prefix match rule. It matched to the /24 first of all, right? Not to the 21. Cat, understand now? Longest prefix match rule. /24 first comes in the picture, right? Then /21.
Can I see the routing table of R1?
Yeah.
Okay, so it will not follow because I have it's directly connected there.
Yeah. This is how the null zero is going to prevent the loop. Now have a look. Yep.
Now one more question. So this is the summary address is just similar to creating a static null route for 192.168 network and advertising under EHRP using network command. Is that both similar, or will there be any difference in that?
If I'm doing the summarization like this guy, right, summary address, and whatever the route that is coming in this one, right, 191.168, 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, even 5, 6, 7, all this come, right? All that route should enable in the EHRP. If that route will be not enabled in the EHRP, that route will be not advertised to the R2. So it should be enabled. If I'm not, take example, if I'm not going to advertise this route into the EHRP protocol, and if I'm going to do the summarization, it won't work.
Okay. Okay. What if I create a static null route and advertise that under EHRP?
It work.
Will that
It
work?
work. It yes, perfect.
Okay.
That's but
Okay.
that is never recommendation.
So it means every summary route points to null zero.
Yeah, perfect. That's a conclusion.
So even though it's down, make sure that that interface is always up and connected to the router, or else it will go to null zero.
Yes. If the router will not find the destination information, it will go to the null zero, and any packet come to the null zero, it will drop. One minute, Saurabh, I'll show you 1 minute. Now, cool. Topology is clear. The subnet I'm going to use 191.2.0 between this guy /24. This guy is I'm going to use the 24.0/24. Javed is there. Yeah, good. I thought I forget you, right? Like you said me like log remind me. I thought 20.0/24. Perfect, right? This is the subnet that I'm running over there. I'll show you the configuration first of all. R2. So IP interface brief, show run section EHRP. Let me know if you have any questions from the configuration part, right? Okay, EHRP is not there. Let's run the EHRP now. Done? Cool. Let's save this configuration. On R2 as well as so IP interface brief, show run section EHRP. Done. EHRP is configured. On R3, show IP interface brief, show run section Eigrp. Done. IP is configured, right, section Eigrp is there. And on R4, no. Done. Now I'm doing the load balancing on R4. So both information is coming from the same side, right? This information is coming this guy, and same like this. 34.4 and same thing 2.0, 34.3 and 24.2, both the path and both the path. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to do the summarization on R1. On which interface? This interface. I'm going to do the summarization on this particular interface. Okay, so interface 0/0 IP summary address EIGRP number 192.168.0.0/22, right? Clear? Okay. Okay. 1 minute. Done. What happens if I'm going to put this command? R1 will create a summary address, right? And it will send the summary address to whom? R2. R2 will receive, R2 will share this information to R4. R4 will receive, and what R4 will do? It will delete all the information that I was learning from this side, right? 24.2, all individual information, right? Question to all of you: will R4 share the same information to the R3? Will R4 share same information to the R3? It's 22. Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Good. Will R3 will share this information to the R1? Now say yes. Say yes.
I think so, yeah.
So loop is not happening. Guys, R3 will share this information to the R1, but the loop will be happening. So tell me one thing. On a R1, once I did the summarization, which route I'm going to install? One dummy route. What is the AD of this route?
5.
And what is the AD of this route? Which route I'm going to prefer in the routing table?
5.
Null 0, null 0.
Of course, 5, right? Because lower AD is more preferred. Yes. Another question to all of you. Will R1 receive this update? Will R1 receive this update?
It shouldn't, because it is also advertising to R3, right?
It's not advertising to R3 because it's a per interface basis.
Oh yeah, so in that case, it has to receive the update.
देखो Clearly receive. But in a R1 routing table, we don't have this information /22 with the 980 because I already have a null zero. That's how it has a 5. So I always give the preference to the 5. Okay. See the magic. तेरे चेहरे में रुक जा मुझे तो देखने दे पहले कहाँ गया नहीं है क्या कहाँ है ये तो नल जीरो अपना है ना ये खुद का है समरी आउट है ना नल जीरो खुद का है अबे होना चाहिए देखिए ये देखो जादू आ गया दो आउट है who is successor out which route I'm installing in the routing table.
Sorry, earlier it wasn't there, but now you're saying
I put the SUIP Eigrp all links the command.
Oh, okay.
So what is the use of this guy 580 to prevent control plane loop, right? I'm not installing, right? Anna? Sort of clear now. Chalo.
So whenever you're originating a summary route and it returns back to you, just to make sure that the loop doesn't form in this case, right? So that's
because it will install in the topology table, but not in the routing table because routing table always maintain the best path. And what's the AD of this guy when R3 is sending 90? And what's the AD of summary route 5? I always give the preference to the 5.
Okay. Okay. Even if it's received on Eigrp, because the 5 is not going to go out.
That's why 5 is not. That's AD is a local to the router.
Yeah. Understood. Thank you.
Now let's do some quiz. देखो मैं करता हूँ क्या अभी जाता हूँ यहाँ पे मारता हूँ 255 आप करेगा नल जीरो हटा दिया मैंने हो गया लूप बन गया खतरनाक बन गए लूप अब ये डॉट R1 R2 R2 R3 R4 R3 R3 R1 and installing because I removed the null zero. Let me add back. Make it flat. That's a normal default. So now they will remove it. Five is there. Oh, come on. Put something. 1 minute. Do show instruction interface 0/0. Not do clear IP route. Down, yeah. look like in BGP video software. No, not look like. Sometimes it's like EIGRP is not saying sometimes in this classified, so it's not it's mandatory in the EIGRP.
Lo, why do you always put 5 before and then removing it and then just remove it?
That's a AD value I'm putting over there. That's a default AD for the. If I'm not going to put now, they will take the 5. That's a EIGRP summary.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Right.
matter if you put 5. Not.
It's matter. It does matter. Because by default, what's the summary AD, EIGRP AD for the internal route 90, and for the summary route is 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once I put this command now, automatically they will put it. See, once I put this command, IP summary address EIGRP number 1. Done. 252.0. Am I putting the 85 over there? No. But what happened if I see do show run interface 0/0? What they are doing? Automatically they will take.
So you're not putting the 5?
Oh no.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
no, I'm not doing.
Okay.
It's not coming. I don't know why. Some maybe bug is happening. Don't worry. So guys, tell me, anyone has a till this point any questions in the null zero concept and the 85 concept?
Hey, I think it is 248, not 252, right? When you're declaring it.
252 will be having 3 null zero is there.
Okay,
So run
okay.
interface VLAN 102. What is this one? So run interface VLAN 102. What's VLAN
Sorry,
102?
wrong window.
What's the wrong window? Now, quick question to all of you guys. When I ping, if you see show IP route EIGRP, when I ping 101, which path they will prefer? Tell me. From R4. When I ping 101, which path they will prefer?
R2.
वाह, इतना गलत कोई कैसे हो सकता है?
34.
When I ping
R3,
101,
it's taking R3.
it will take the R3. Why?
More specific.
Exactly right. When I ping 101, it will go for the R3 because more specific route, right? Longest prefix match rule.
Longest prefix match will correct.
So
that is the first condition, right?
Yeah, that's always first condition, right? See, I also have a summary dot, but I also have more specific /24 and /22. Which one I will get? 24, not the 22. 24 I will, yeah. So if you see 34.4 resource, and I'm going to power the packet from 0/0 interface. That is this guy, right? Not via this. So not wrong. Clear, right? Any questions?
And this summary is a interface level command in EIGRP,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, individual interface development.
Okay, and there's no like global kind of. I think there's like 2 different ways in summarization.
In cat OS is not.
Okay.
Yeah. But even from the R2, it will go via this R4 and R3, right?
Sorry, tell me again.
From the R2, if we ping to the 192.168.1.0 network, it will it might be go from R4 to R3.
Yeah, below. Wait, one. See. The individual instance /22 is here, and I'm getting from there. So if I'm going to ping, do one thing. Access list, somebody commit, ICP, any. Always use the conditional debug, guys. Okay, don't use the normal debug. Go for the conditional. Correct. 24.2 is there, right? Well, still I'm sending the packet from here. Longest prefix match rule. Done. एक चीज और दिखाता हूँ, रुको, मस्त चीज दिखाता हूँ। EIGRP summarization. Okay, so let's go right. Start this routers. ये बहुत प्यारा concept है. So I'll show you the basic. You can see the diagram is also configured over there, right? So on R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, so just did this guy, right? R6, R2, I don't know. R6, I don't know. If you go on R1, this router, right? R1, and if you see show IP interface brief configure, I'll show you the configuration. So run section Eigrp, nothing is there, just normal 0 0 0. Done, great. And on R2, if you see on R2, this guy, show IP interface brief, show run section Eigrp. My all interface has advertised, right? Great. On R2 as well as. If you go back to the now R3, right? This interface, this router, sorry. So run section Eigrp, we have a 2.1, that's R3 and network 0 0 0. If you go back to the R4 now, so IP interface brief. So run section Eigrp. Everything is fine, right? And if you go back to the now R5, so IP interface brief, so run section Eigrp. All good. Done. R5 should maintain the 3 neighborship. And if you go back to the R6 now, so run section Eigrp. What I want to show you over there, guys. What I want to show you. If you go back to the R5, R5 will have this information, this two information. Can you see that 1.0? I'll write on over there. /24. And let's change the color of this guy. Exit it and change the color. Make it blue. Okay. Change the font size. Done. Okay. Duplicate. Okay. Now, right now, all we have a both information. And can you see the matrix are seen, right? Guys, don't worry about the matrix. I will just show you some concept that's belong to the summarization, right? I'll do one thing. I'll just change some matrix. Go to R2 order, and I'll change some delay value. Delay will be okay. Now come back to the R5 again. Can you see the delay has changed? Matrix has changed. This guy has a higher matrix and this guy has a lower matrix. Now let's do the summarization. Now let's do the summarization. Bone interface 1/0, IP summary address Eigrp number 1, 192.168.0.255.2.0. Done. If I'm going to configure the summarization on this particular interface, right? R5 will send the summary address, that is, this should be like this, right? 0.0/22. Question is that which matrix I will prefer, this matrix or this matrix, or any other matrix, this matrix or any other matrix.
The metric of the interface on which you are configuring.
Right?
think it should be highest one.
It should be lowest one. So when the multiple, what I'm the conclusion point is of this guy, whenever if you take example 192.168.0.1.0/24 and 192.168.2.0/24 and 192.168. This guy has a metric 100, this guy has a metric 500, this guy has a metric 600, and this guy has a 50. So when I'm secure the summary address /21, the metric will be 50, not this one. Yep. Guys, tell me, any questions?
So what is the command to see AD value 5 of a summary route?
Just IP summary address and change the AD. Nothing else.
No, the command to see.
Key क्या मतलब key बोले तो कौन सा command?
ये बोले तो देखना है वैसे कहाँ पे AD value.
I think he meant to see how to see that.
Oh, how to see that AD value? Okay. Hello, Saurabh. Yeah, summarization is also called as supernating. Summarization is also called as a supernating because we are reducing the bit.
Which metric is preferred, lowest or highest?
Yeah, lowest.
While choosing the route, not while summarizing, just while choosing the route in the routing table.
Yes.
The lowest is preferred, is it?
Yep.
So how is the metric calculated for summary? I mean, I think you mentioned it's like 50, the metric, right? So how is it calculated for like a summary?
इसका लोअर है तो already calculate कर चुका है ना according to formula. If you don't know how to calculate, then I will teach you later on class. This is the formula is happening. So once I do the summation, which one I prefer? This one, right? So lower one. This one is higher, right? 100 is higher. Same normal formula is there. That Eigrp does, right? To calculate the metric. 10 to the power 7 by least.
No, I think I understood. Like they have like 5 parameters that they have based on that they choose.
Yeah, that's based on the same thing, right?
Okay, but I think I'm not clear like how for the summary. With summary, what will it base on? I'm not very clear actually.
Same thing. Nothing is
okay.
Yeah, nothing is.
Okay.
1 minute, one cat question is there, right? Let me solve that cat question. The cat was asking a question. R1, R2.
Okay, I think I can ask in a more specific way. I think see bandwidth, delay, load, reliability, MTU, all these are taken for if it's a normal route, normal regular route.
For everyone, not a normal, for everyone.
Yeah. So in case of a summary.
Yeah, go on, tell me. Go on.
Which parameters are taken for this individual?
Okay. And the same parameter.
Okay.
Nothing is different, same parameter. Do you know how to calculate the metric? you know how to calculate the metric of the Eigrp?
I think there's a very big formula, which is all those parameters, the 5 parameters: bandwidth, delay, load, reliability.
Do one thing. When you do the practice of this part now, calculate it and let me know as well as same formula thing. 10 to the power 7 by least bandwidth plus total delay by 10
Okay.
into 256.
So you are saying if it calculates the metrics using the same formula, even in the summary route, you're saying then it doesn't depend on the metric advertised by the other two routers, which was summarized. I mean, normally, first time you said it takes the lowest, right? So it doesn't take the lowest. It actually calculates the metrics to the summary route.
So of course, if not summary, taking the lowest one, it's not calculating. Already they have calculated, right? It's not calculating, it's just doing the summary, and it's taking the lowest one, not calculating. They are not calculating. They are already calculated in the Eigrp table. Huh? In the Eigrp table, already they have route, right? So he's picking the lowest one.
Okay. Okay.
Now Cat has asked the question, key, what happened if this loopback goes down? Nothing will happen, Cat. See, if I'm going to shut down this loopback number 1, still R2 will have this information. If I'm going to shut down the loopback number 2, still R2 will have this information. See, if I'm going to shut down number 3, still R2 will have this information.
Can you ping?
But of course, you can't ping, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. When it's down, you cannot ping.
Yeah, you can ping. If I'm going to shut down the loopback number 5 now, that's my loopback number 5, shut down, then R2 will remove this route from the routing table. See, because there is no any route that belongs to this summary. But if I'm going to create a one more loopback, take example interface loopback number 6, and that has the IP address will be 1.5, sorry, 5.1. Now what happened? R2 will add this information in the routing table. Yep. Because this /21, right? /21 is 248 submit mask, right? 248 minus 255. How many route is coming? 7 route is coming. So till 7 route will be automatically summarized till 7. If you see on R1, if I'm going to create a loopback number 7 that has IP address 7.7, still R2 will have this information, summary address. But if I'm going to create the loopback number 8, it will seen as an individual route on R2. Now clear?
Yeah.
और पढ़ोगे क्या सनराइज? सुजीत कहाँ चला गया? Sujit, your null zero is clear now.
Yeah, yeah. I have. When are you going to upload this video? Because I have to. I am totally.